All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So in honor of Sue Anders and her thinking the peach is going to be the best, we're going to start with the peach one.
Yay.
So ingredients: a cup of vanilla Greek frozen or Greek yogurt, 4 ripe peaches, frozen or defrosted, and then honey. So I got my peaches. They were frozen and I put them in the refrigerator to defrost. And I thought we had honey here at the center, which welcome, we're cooking with Laura in the day center, so that's an exciting thing. All right, so I thought we had honey, we don't have honey, so we're using regular sugar instead. So, easy peasy recipes. Everything is just.
If you have honey, how much you put?
It says a tablespoon, but kind of to your liking, because some people don't like the taste of honey. Sometimes it's a little overpowering. So maybe even just like a little drizzle, or I think the peaches are sweet enough on their own that you probably don't even need to use any additional sweetener. So that's another option too. All right, so we're doing a cup of Greek yogurt. So I have Greek low-fat yogurt. I just got plain because I thought that the peaches and everything else would give it enough flavor that I didn't need vanilla. So we're gonna measure out a cup here and just throw it in the blender. Everybody's staring at me and making me nervous. Oh, and my lovely assistant Jill here is going to be helping me out today. All right, so we're just dumping in a cup of yogurt. And it's the Greek yogurt, so it's kind of thick. So we're just gonna scrape it all out and get all the good stuff out. Alrighty, and then I'm guesstimating how much 4 ripe peaches is. So I got a 1 pound bag of frozen peaches, and I'm gonna say that that's probably maybe 4 regular peaches. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it looks like it when I open the bag. All right, so once again, easy peasy, dump in the blender. And then I'm just gonna add maybe a couple of these little sugar packets. But once again, like I said before, you don't have to add the extra sugar. I think the peaches in it would be enough that you wouldn't need anything, or that honey. All right, so it's probably gonna get loud because I'm gonna turn on the blender. We'll see what happens.
I'll just make it like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like it's pretty blended. Actually, it's not blended like at all.
Is the thing sitting on the blender part right?
It is. I think it just kind of, you know, it's not the most efficient blender I've ever used. So we're just gonna mix it up a little bit and then we're gonna blend it some more. All right. All righty, so we are blended and ready to go. So we had difficulties finding popsicle molds. So we have little starfish molds and little mermaid molds. So we're gonna try those for some of these. And then we got some Dixie cups and we're gonna use those too. So I'll show you how to do that too. So you can use those instead. But we are going to attempt to pour these in these molds. It looks delicious. Jill is excited. We're hoping we don't make a mess. All right, so it looks like it's gonna make about 6 of them. Yeah, perfect, almost.
That worked.
I know, it was actually kind of perfect. All right, Jill is my handy assistant. She's going to be my cleanup crew, which I appreciate because normally I'm the cleanup crew and it takes forever. So we are going to put our little popsicles over here, and then we're going to put them in the freezer. It says about 4 hours or until frozen. So I'd throw them in there and then check every, I don't know, 20 minutes because I'm impatient. And they look really yummy and I want to taste them. So yeah, probably about.
I would have been licking the bowl, you know what I'm saying?
I know, you know, it's hard to do that when you're on camera though. All right, so I have my blender back to do the next one. All right, so real quick, some peach facts. So peaches are a good source of vitamin C. Oranges are not the only fruit that's high in vitamin C. And for those who played fruit and veggie bingo, do you guys remember what else is high in vitamin C?
Aren't all the citrus fruits?
All the citrus fruit, but this isn't a citrus fruit. It's the little round one that has lots of fuzz on it.
Oh, the kiwi.
Yeah, kiwi, exactly. So kiwi actually has more vitamin C than any of those citrus fruits that you normally think of. Peaches are also high in potassium, and they contain calcium, so good for your bones. And then they have a lot of water in them, so they're good for hydration. So, you know, when you take a bite into a peach and it's all juicy, that's really good to, you know, help you hydrate during the summer. And then honey, if you were to use that, so honey is rich in antioxidants, may help lower your blood pressure and also lower your cholesterol levels. Honey also helps with burned and wound healing. So if you put it on like a little burn or something like that, and like the olden days, it helped speed up healing. And then it also helps soothe a sore throat and a cough. So if you're not feeling so great, a little tea with some honey in it will help soothe the sore throat and the cough. All right, next one, we are doing the coconut lime popsicles. So this one is 1.5 cups of the Greek yogurt, 3/4 of a cup of lime juice, some lime zest, and 1/2 cup of cream of coconut. But I didn't have that, so we're just going to use coconut milk. So once again, when you're looking at these recipes, if you don't have everything that's on the list, you can always make little substitutions, and it's usually not going to change much of the flavor or the texture or anything. All right, so 1.5 cups of yogurt.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am?
Is Mountain High yogurt pretty much the same as Greek yogurt? Because it's pretty thick.
It is pretty thick. I'd have to look at the, you know, the easiest way that you can tell like a better yogurt is looking at the protein content. So a Greek yogurt has way more protein than like a regular Yoplait yogurt. So like, for example, so this Greek yogurt here, a serving size is 3/4 of a cup, and it has 18 grams of protein. So in that same serving of like a Yoplait yogurt, you're probably only going to get like, I don't know, 6 grams of protein. So that's why I always want everybody to eat the Greek yogurt because it has more of that good protein in it. And then make sure that you're buying the ones that are lower in sugar, because a lot of those other, you know, like Yoplait or the Chobani, or not Chobani, what's the one? I can't think of the name. Yes, Noosa. That Noosa yogurt that has all the, you know, the fruit and everything on top, you know, it tastes delicious. And the reason why it tastes delicious is because it has a ton of sugar in it. So you can do things like add your own fruit to it to make it taste good, but you're not going to get all that extra sugar that we don't really want.
I love my Noosa.
It's because it has all that sugar in there. All right, so we got our 1.5 cups of our Greek yogurt in here. And then We need 3/4 cup of lime juice. So I just got the lime concentrate, so I didn't have to squeeze a million limes. Feel free to buy limes and squeeze your own limes if you are that inclined. I have a feeling these are going to be super tart.
So you said that yogurt has like 16 grams of
Yeah,
protein?
16 grams in 3/4 cup.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
My pie only has 10.
Yeah, so that's why I would say it's probably not, I mean, it's probably better than like Yoplait or something,
Yeah.
but once again, not as good as like, I like the Fage is probably the best Greek yogurt. All right, so we got our lime juice in there, we got our yogurt in there. We don't have a lime zester at this wonderful paste center, so we're gonna do our own little lime zesting with just a vegetable peeler. We're just gonna skin off the little tippy top of that layer of the skin. You wanna make sure you don't get any of that white stuff because that white stuff is really bitter and it won't make it taste very good. So just as much of the green and as little as the white as possible. And we're just gonna cut it up and zest our own. I should have had my trusty assistant do this for me.
Uh-oh, they're sneaking in behind.
Uh-oh. All right, so we're just gonna cut this up. It probably doesn't need to be too small because it's going in the blender and blending up with everything.
Right.
All right, so it smells very limey and delicious. We're gonna throw that in the blender. All right, and then 1/2 cup of coconut cream, but like I said, I didn't have that, so I'm just gonna use coconut milk. So we're just gonna shake it up a little bit so it gets all blended. And see if I can figure out how to use this can opener. Maybe? Anybody know how to use this thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you use it?
Don't you,
Tiffany.
don't you have to open the handle?
I don't know how to use, no, it doesn't have a handle to open.
Well,
Hold on, technical difficulties.
You just pry the lid off.
I don't know.
yeah, somebody will cut
It's
their
like
fingers.
a pop
Here,
pod,
I can
right?
use this. We'll use this to open it. Hold on, maybe there's another one. Pause button, pause. Oh, wait, we have a normal can opener. Don't buy that can opener. No, we'll figure out how to use it eventually. All right, so we are doing 1/2 cup of our coconut. And we're just gonna use our same little thing because the sink is very far away. All right, 1/2 cup of coconut. All right, now we're gonna blend, so it's gonna be loud again, guys.
Laura, just so you know, it's not loud at all. We could
not?
hear it.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So we are all blended again. And once again, easy peasy, nice, quick, easy little recipe. And now, all right. So since we only had a limited supply of popsicle mold things, we're gonna use Dixie cups. So we're just gonna pour it in there. I'd fill it up maybe, I don't know, halfway. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some aluminum foil on the top and then stick in little tongue depressor craft sticky things, and then put some aluminum foil to help hold those stable and straight. All right, so I'm gonna hand this over to my trusty assistant. She's gonna do the cleanup. All right, so we have it poured in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like halfway full with little green specks in there. They look very creamy. All right, so I will show you what we're gonna do. You could probably use like a saran wrap or something like that too if you don't have the aluminum foil. I thought this would stick better because saran wrap doesn't really stick to, you know, papery plastic. So we're just gonna, actually I'm gonna make a little slit. And then we're gonna put our little tongue depressor in there, and then it's gonna hold it up so that when it's frozen, you're just gonna peel off the little Dixie cup and it will be stuck to your thing. And then we are going to label them so we know what they are. So I'm gonna hand these over and I'm gonna have Jill wrap the rest. Thank you so much, my handy little assistant. Thank you. All right, so since we're learning about, we just used our limes and coconut, we're gonna learn a little bit about limes and coconut. So limes are high in potassium, vitamins A, B, C, and D, and also magnesium. So once again, really good for in the summertime. That's gonna help hydrate you and replace those electrolytes that we lose when we're sweating. They also improve digestion to help break down the starches in our food due to their acidity. And vitamin C, we talked about the citrus fruits. So limes are high in vitamin C. They're an antioxidant and boost immunity. And then a little bit about coconut. So coconut milk contains medium chain triglycerides, and those are shown to help promote weight loss and stimulate your metabolism. They also help balance out your gut bacteria and aid in digestion. They also contain a lipid called lauric acid, which researchers believe can support the immune system. Does anybody have any questions?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. So the next one we're doing is those cherry lime pops. So that is going to be a pound of cherries. And I used the frozen ones once again because easy. So they were frozen. I put them in the fridge. They sat in the fridge for, you know, all day yesterday. I bought a 2-pound bag, but it only calls for a pound. So we're going to try and not spill this all over myself and only use like half of the bag. We're getting hung up on the little lippy thing. All right, so that's about half the bag. All right, so half of the bag, I need a half a cup of water, so I'm gonna run and get that real fast. All right, a half a cup of water, a fourth of a cup of sugar. Once again, if you don't want to add the sugar, the fruit is probably sweet enough that you don't need to add it, but we'll just throw this in. It's a fourth of a cup of sugar, and then 3 tablespoons of lime zest. I should have done it all at once. All right, so once again, just as much of the green and as little as the white as possible. All right. So peel my little lime. So as you can see, like, you know, I got most of the green, but you can still see all that white that's on there. So most of the green, none of the white. And I need my knife. Oh, thank you. All right, so once again, just a rough chop. You're throwing it in the blender, so it'll get chopped up anyways. So in the recipe, it says that you can use fresh cherries as well. that would be a challenge and a lot of work because you're going to have to take the pits out of all of them. So keep that in mind if that's the route that you want to go. Probably delicious, but not as easy. And then you'd have to cook them down so they're soft. So cook them for about 10 or 15 minutes with a little bit of that sugar to help break them down. I'm going to throw in a little bit of a splash of the lime juice too, just to get it a little bit limier.
Limier.
Limier, you like that word?
I do.
I just added it to the dictionary. All right, blending now. So easy peasy, once again, complete cherry lime pops. We're gonna pour them in our little Dixie cups. And then my trusty assistant. These look yummy. Yeah, so once again, we're just gonna fill them up halfway. This one made a little bit more, so there's 8 instead of 6. And always feel free to like double the recipe and make like a big batch because they'll last in your freezer for a long time. All right, my trusty assistant to clean. Hopefully you all have your own trusty assistants to help you clean.
Funny.
All right, so since we just made the cherry lime ones, we're going to talk about cherries. So cherries are good at helping relieve insomnia. They contain a hormone called melatonin that helps facilitate good and peaceful sleep. They could prevent cardiovascular disease, and that's because of the antioxidants that are in cherries called anthocyanins. By helping reduce bad cholesterol levels, regulate blood pressure, and help fight free radicals. They have anti-aging properties. Once again, those antioxidants that are in there are gonna help fight free radicals that make the skin look dull. So, you know, as we get older, our skin gets a little bit loose and not as bright and shiny. So it's gonna help with that. They're gonna help promote healthy locks. So it's gonna make your hair nice and shiny and look pretty. That's because they contain a vitamin B and C, and that prevents hair damage and breakage and helps keep the scalp hydrated. And they also help maintain pH balance in your body. So cherries are alkaline in nature, and whenever there's an increase in the acidity content in the body, cherries can help balance out those levels. So it helps neutralize if you're having like some indigestion or like some reflux. Cherries can kind of help neutralize that so you don't have that, you know, the acid reflux that builds up in your stomach. All righty, next. All right, the last one, skinny pina colada ice pops. All right, so we got our blender. We are going to do 1 1/3 cup canned pineapple. So when you're buying canned fruit, you want to make sure that it's 100% in fruit juice and that it's not in that heavy syrup, because then you're getting all that extra bad sugar that you don't need. And sugar or fruit is already naturally sweet, once again, so you don't want to add anything to it. So this is pineapple tidbits in 100% pineapple juice. I'm just going to dump the whole can in here because it's 1 1/3 cup of pineapple and then 1/4 cup of pineapple juice. So we're just going to dump it in. And I'm actually going to make a double batch on these. So I'm going to put 2 cans of pineapple in. All right, so 2 cans of pineapple, and then this one has a 1/2 cup of light coconut milk. So we're gonna use that coconut milk that we had earlier, and we are gonna measure it out. And since I did a double batch, we're gonna do a cup. This is a 3/4 cup, so we're gonna kind of guesstimate what a cup is.
It's 11 o'clock.
Is somebody trying to tell me something with your clock? All right, and then the next ingredient is coconut extract. So that's what it's gonna make it taste super coconutty, like our pina coladas. So it's a half a teaspoon of coconut extract. So I got my little bottle of coconut extract, and we're gonna put we're gonna do a teaspoon because we doubled it. So 2 of these. Alrighty. And once again, blend away. All blended, we're gonna pour them into our little popsicle molds, AKA Dixie cups. All right, guys, that concludes blending with Laura. Hopefully everybody makes their little popsicles. When we're open someday, everybody can taste the popsicles. What are your guys' thoughts on the popsicles? They look good?
Yeah.
Is anybody gonna try and make them? I know Sue said she was going to.
I'll be there tomorrow, so I get one.
If there's any left, there's been a lot of takers already.
Oh, I
Oh,
love those, Laura.
I'll be
Yeah.
over there. the
Dewey's on his
15th.
way in 15.
Yeah, you can save one for me.
Remember I said it takes 4 hours to freeze. So come like in 4 hours and 15 or 3:45 maybe. All right, so once again, we're just filling them up like halfway. I don't have any pineapple facts. Pineapple facts off of the top of my head. So pineapple is good. It has an enzyme called papain, which actually is really good for helping like tenderize meat and breaking down those tough fibers in meat. So like if you want to like, I don't know, cook like a flank steak or something, it's really good to marinate it with some pineapple juice because it helps break down that tough fiber in the meat, or like chicken or pork. And then it adds kind of that sweet, excuse me, that sweet like Hawaiian flavor to it. That's my pineapple fact off the top of my head. All right, does anybody have any questions, comments?
I was gonna tell you, what if you don't want, you can't eat yogurt? I can't eat yogurt.
You can't eat yogurt. So what you could use instead, if you can't do dairy, there's like a coconut yogurt or like a soy yogurt. They make all kinds of different yogurts nowadays that are not dairy. So I would use one of those alternatives. The coconut would probably be really yummy in all of them because it tastes a little bit like coconut. So it'd add that little sweet coconut flavor to it.
All right.
So you could use that as an alternative.
No, I'll be there tomorrow for blood work.
Ah, nice.
Any a popsicle, cherry or a coconut.
Yeah. All right, does anybody else have any other questions or anything? No? All right, well, thanks for joining and have a great rest of the day, guys, and we will see you with the next Cooking with Laura.